What's up? Welcome back to another market recap. Today is August 21st, 2025. So we had a good bit of movement last night on a number of different pairs. This main kind of group I had here with Swiss Huff, for the most part, played out. These two primaries of Swiss Huff and Swiss PLN played out. Unfortunately, though, like Swiss Huff didn't quite pull back to the entry point. So never really presented an entry. You could technically have been a little bit more aggressive here and like taken an entry possibly. Either way, I was never able to really trade this pair due to spreads. So I was monitoring it throughout Asia, throughout London, and even in New York. I don't think this is a pair I'm going to be able to trade. The spreads did get tighter after Asia when London kind of came into play, but still not tight enough for me to be able to take a position. Same thing went for Swiss PLN. Now this one did present an entry, did pull back. I mean, you have kind of like multiple kind of entries right here. The nicest one is probably right there in hindsight. But did present an entry. This trade likely would have played out for probably about 1 hour. So, but again, couldn't trade it because of spreads. The spread I had on this pair was a little bit better than Swiss Huff. I don't think I'll ever be able to trade Swiss Huff. And Swiss PLN, I don't think I'm ever really going to be able to trade either, which is a shame. They're really nice setups. Both kind of played out as we intended. The main trade from this pair, though, that I could take without a spread issue was this dollar Swiss. I did not take this trade for a couple of different reasons. I think it had a number of valid entries, and if we go to like a 2-minute time frame, I think the first entry, if you wanted to be pretty aggressive. Actually, let's get back just a second. Let's pull our pivots back up from yesterday. Get a look at what that looks like. And we'll go to 30 second. Yeah. So on like a 30-second time frame, looking at this pair, price is kind of riding up. It's holding this trend line at the time as it's going. And an aggressive entry, I was looking at this right here as a potential one. My problem is you're trading right back into this trend line. So I think this is a valid entry and probably should have taken it. But this trend line kind of kept me out of the trade. Kind of waiting to see how price reacted. When I started to watch price break down here at this point, I was like, man, I probably should have taken this trade. Then, price kind of followed through and then started forming this other trend line. Which I think I can edit now. I drew this one a long time ago. I think now you can draw it from here. Somewhat-ish, maybe. Something like that. So anyways, first potential entry on this 30-second time frame, if you want to be really aggressive, was there. But this trend line, overall bullish price action still on the micro time frames kept me out. Right? 2-minute wise, roughly that same time. Price did overall break that trend line, continue down, and then shot up here. So this little area right here is the second entry, I'd say, for this trade. Going back to a 30-second kind of time frame, what I was considering is entering on a break of these lows. We kind of had this double top, but also we kind of have a double bottom. So it's like kind of indecision, it seems like. A break of that, I think, is a valid entry. So it's like an entry at a point kind of like this right here. And then riding here, it still would have been a loss. And likely, either way you swung it, it's a loss. The only thing I would have been able to do is on the break of this 10-minute 50 is clipped the highs right there. So if entering off that second entry, then it would have been about a 0.5 loss. If entered off that first entry, then it probably would have been like a 0.7, 0.8 loss, because you still would have just clipped that high and then would have been taken out of the trade shortly after. But overall, like at this time, which is like 1, 2 o'clock or so in the morning for me, I was watching Swiss Huff, Swift PLN. They're both kind of breaking out as they should. And they've kind of already hit the targets I had in place, or on their way to hitting the targets. So above 1R type of situations. So this trade started to become a little less attractive to me. But it's still a valid trade. I think it could have been taken. I probably should have taken it. But honestly, I hesitated on this trade. And that hesitation prevented a loss, but sometimes that hesitation causes me to miss trades too. So that are for profit. Either way, in this particular example, it helped me out. But I think it's a valid trade. Pound Swiss never really did anything. We'll say Swiss yen. This was a discretionary kind of setup, and I really stopped watching it after the other two Swiss trades were already kind of playing out. But I mean, overall, this idea behind it did play out. So Pound Swift, nothing really happened. Swiss yen played out. Swiss PLN, Swiss Puff played out. Dollar Swiss did not, which I'm assuming is due to more so a large dollar movement. I haven't really done a scan yet. I'll do a scan after we go through this recap and see what we got. Euro Pound was another one I was watching. When it comes to taking a trade, me personally, I'm looking for price to come back, hit my level, and then play that first push up. So if price does something close to that, so it almost taps my entry point, pushes up, and then retraces, the trade becomes a lot less attractive to me. And that's what really happened here with this Euro Pound. I never really got to an entry point. I think you could have still potentially entered this, though, in this 30-second time frame and tightened up this position size. You know, roughly here. I mean, it kind of had some decent deceleration here. You could have entered on this break or that break or this break, but probably this break, right? And then just tightened up the whole position. It would have got a little stop clippy, but that's the only way I think you could have captured something from this. If your business size of 1-to-1, and a 2-to-1, I don't even know if it would have worked. You still have the EMAs and that horizontal level and the pivot protecting you a tad, but it's still not a perfect trade. This is why I prefer like price to pull back into 0.382 and 0.5, somewhere in that area, to take a trade. So didn't quite get the pullback I was looking for on Euro Pound, which kept me out. Pound CAD formed this double bottom here is how I was reading it, and then got a pullback. So when I see situations like this, it just becomes a no trade for me, even though this trade did end up playing out. So, but by the time like this kind of price decelerated here and whatnot, I was asleep at this point, so wasn't even watching it. Pound knock played out, but didn't really give a pullback. And then pound czar didn't really play out. I mean, it had a hellacious kind of pullback here, and more so than anything, just more sideways price action. So either way, there's some potential trades in here. Still did pretty decent with DDPs, so just daily direction predictions for last night's session. Just unfortunately wasn't able to get into anything. So we did, because of like this breakout on dollar Swiss, and the other kind of breakout on Swiss Huff. We also got the breakout we were looking for here on Dollar Huff. So this may be on watch come tonight. It got a larger kind of push than I anticipated. I was hoping that it would kind of stop in this middle point between the 1 hour 50 and 4 hour 50 and 4 hour 200, but it kind of already pushed to that level. So see what this looks like here in a minute when I go to build the watch list. I think that's may have gotten some other breakdowns. Some of these other pairs. Yeah. But cool. Still 2 really nice trades with these Swiss Huffs with PLN. Unfortunately, spreads kept me out of them. So, but still like great examples as to like picture perfect. This is what I'm looking for to trade. If I could trade setups like this every day, I'd be in heaven, honestly. So, but cool. I'm going to go make my watch list and I will catch you guys in a minute. All right, and we're back. And this is technically going to be a take 2 because I've already recorded this once, but didn't realize my mic was muted the entire time. So let's do it again. I have 3 groups on watch for tonight's session. I have an Aussie group, a Euro group, and a dollar group. Okay. The primary pair for me today, really my favorite, is this pound Aussie. I have pretty much a long Aussie bias, so a bullish Aussie bias. It's an IBO for this pound Aussie, an IBO for Aussie PLN. This is a potential IBO for Euro Aussie. It's just not as clean. This Aussie dollar is potentially an ABO, so a breakout play. And then you have Aussie yen as an IBO. So all kind of bullish bias for all 5 of those. But this main one, pound Aussie, if we look at the daily time frame, have essentially like a tweezer top type of situation right here. So, and as well as you've bouncing off of this level that's been respected previously, this kind of general area. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, multiple different touches. Anything over 3, 4 touches when it comes to a trend line or support and resistance line gives it more and more validity. So I look for 3 touches or more. So we've got that, right? So we look good from a daily time frame. 4 hour wise, this is a 1 hour IBO, so it's not really going to be any kind of strategy on your 4 hour yet. But you do have a lower low here from this particular low, right? You do have a lower high more so than anything. So look okay there on the 4 hour, but nothing really to celebrate. 1 hour time frame though, looks pretty good here, right? Like bouncing off of that daily level, you've got a double top with a slightly lower high. You have a wave 1 breakdown, so a lower low beyond this low, and then looking for a confirmation with a lower high here to take this short, essentially. Break of a trend. You also have this kind of horizontal level in here. So it looks good. I don't really have too many qualms about this trade, other than that it looks a little bit tight when you're looking at it from a normal perspective like this, right? Like it looks a little bit tight, but if you zoom in some, it looks okay. So I have a position size of 27 pips at the moment, 2-to-1 trade. So 1-to-1 at the lows and then pushing an additional 1. Usually my 2R target, it lines up with roughly 0.618 fib extension. So I just try and either get my 2R before S1 or R1 or before 0.618 if possible, fib extension. So that all lines up. I think you could push this trade potentially to the 1 hour 200, 4 hour 50 area, right? Definitely has room to move. So interesting. My weekly target is 2R a week. So I don't necessarily need to push this if it gives an entry. So hopefully it does. Probably the cleaner trade of the bunch of trades I have here, right? So this is my primary. Go set an alert here actually, and see if we get a pullback. Yeah, pound Aussie looks good. Aussie PLN, also a nice IBO. The only question I have on this is spreads, right? Like, is this going to be a tradable pair for me or not? Because Aussie PLN is an exotic kind of currency pair. It's not one of the core 27, 28 pairs or how many ever there are. So I have it flagged. We'll see how it develops. The price action, it's all really nice, similar to kind of pound Aussie, right? Looks good. Euro Aussie, similar to pound Aussie. It just has less of a, like the EMA levels don't quite line up the same, right? But very similar concept to pound Aussie. I just think pound Aussie has cleaner price action. Aussie dollar is a potential breakout play. I mean, you have really nice deceleration right here on your 1 hour. You can again see it here on your 4 hour time frame. So you could potentially trade this if you get another bounce off the lows here, enter somewhere off the lows, and then play a breakout. Position sized, something along the lines of, let's say this, looking for at least a 1 by the 1 hour 50. Yeah, by the 1 hour 50, and then push it to the 4 hour 50, 1 hour 200, for 3 to 1. The times I have taken ABOs in the past, I usually try and position size them as a 3 to 1 position, just because they are a little bit riskier. They can break out and play out. And when they break out, they usually break out and have large momentum plays with them. But then also at the same time, they could just break down and take you out of the trade. So, but yeah, I am entertaining taking this trade too. So I'll be watching it. Well, I only really want to take one of these Aussie trades. So it's really just what presents an entry first between this and maybe pound Aussie. I prefer pound Aussie since it already has the breakout, but this is an option. So see how it develops. And then Aussie yen, another IBO, not as clean as the other ones. Like the 1 hour looks okay here, but the other time frames, like you're sitting at the daily kind of 50 up here, just not as clean. But it's an option, secondary, see how it develops. Pound Aussie is the main one I'm looking for out of this group. Euro Huff, we were watching Dollar Huff for the past week or so. Euro Huff is similar kind of breakout play. I think it's actually nicer than Dollar Huff we have right here, due to the fact that Dollar Huff broke out and pushed and really just hit the 4 hour 200, and is now like pulling back from that area. Preferably, or honestly, it seems like the CBO we were looking for really kind of happened here on a micro time frame on your 10-minute, right? Like you got the breakout, you had the pullback, the retest. Now this was the follow through, is the kind of qualm I have with Dollar Huff now, even though we've been watching it for a week. So an ABO play on this off this third bottom would have been really nice, right? And this is kind of what I was referencing with Aussie dollar, right? Like these breakout style plays, like sometimes they break out and they give us the pullback so we can take a wave 3 trade. And then other times they just continue and break and just continue. They don't really give a 1 hour pullback to be able to trade them. So where an ABO strategy would catch this movement, my typical strategies I like to trade, which are IBOs and CBOs, don't really catch this movement unless we get a pullback. So, but Euro Huff is a little cleaner price action, right? It's not bouncing off of the 4 hour 200. You've got room to move to the daily 50. So there's not really anything in a way of our target, unlike Dollar Huff. But the question again on this is spreads. Will I be able to trade it? It's an exotic pair. I don't know. We're past the first hour market rollover at this point, and spreads are still super large on this. So this would not be a tradable pair whatsoever. I mean, the spreads are nearly my total position. But I imagine come London, this will probably tighten up. But overall, the price action's nice. Like, has a good break, coming back for a pullback. CBO, IBO, ACB. So you got 3 time frame alignments, great daily kind of candlesticks. I don't have too much of an issue with it. It's just, are spreads going to allow me to trade it or not? I don't know. Usually on these exotic pairs, dollar pair exotics, like dollar huff and stuff like that, I don't run into the issue with spreads. Euro pairs I've been paying more attention to seem to be better for me from a spread perspective. It's like Swift Huff. I know I can't trade that anymore, but there's a possibility a Euro Huff I might be able to. We'll just have to see come London probably if it works. So, but Euro Huff was a primary area of this group for sure. Euro CAD is an option. I just don't like it that it's kind of bouncing off of this trend line tier. But you do kind of have this IBO here as well. Ish. Probably not anything I'm going to trade. I just have it flagged to kind of watch it, give myself some options. And then we have Euro NOK right here. Like 4 hour wise looks pretty good. Be a 4 hour CBO. It's a 1 hour CBO. It has a super large wave 1 breakdown, essentially. So it needs a rather large pullback to value to take a trade like this. Anything, it might fit better from like a day trading perspective, trading like a 4 hour run rather than a 1 hour run, right? But it's interesting. Have it flagged. Gonna watch it. Again, I want to see how spreads tighten up. Like they're already tightening on this Euro NOK pair. You can see how they're quite a bit tighter than this Euro Huff pair, for example. So see what happens here. Dollar pair wise, I'm obviously watching this dollar huff. I mean, Euro Huff is nicer, but dollar huff is an option. It's just I don't like when this pulls back. It's pretty much in the middle here on the 4 hour. If you were, taking it from this low to that high, I'm using that fib level, but based off of like normal kind of entry points for me, which is at the pivot, fib, EMAs. It's just that there's stuff in the way to the target from R1 to the 4 hour 200, right? There's room to move on your daily time frame for sure, the daily 50. So it's hence why I'm still kind of entertaining this trade. But preferably, I'd like a deeper pullback. A deeper pullback to this kind of level would be pretty much an ACB on your 10-minute. At that point, I could position size it for a 2-to-1 to the highs and then take the trade like that. And at that point, I won't have anything in the way of my target. It'll pretty much, my target will become the 4 hour 200. So not really a primary pair at this point, just due to how it kind of developed, but still watching it, see what happens. Kiwi dollar, similar to Aussie dollar, potential ABO style breakout play. Kind of sitting at this daily level that's been somewhat touched here in the past, right? So it's interesting. You have some pretty nice deceleration. I prefer Aussie dollar over this Kiwi dollar for sure, but it is worth a watch. Dollar PLN sitting at the daily 50s, so it's questionable, but there's something here, just not the best or the cleanest of price action, but it's an option, hence why it's flagged. And then there's dollar Swiss, dollar yen. I think these are more so a tad bit kind of discretionary plays, but just have them flagged to give myself some more options. They're not super great. There's nothing really on a daily. There's no real strategy on the 4 hours or the 1 hours. It's just kind of price action, just kind of these like large movements, pull back, follow through to the highs. Similar to think it was Swiss yen that we had flagged yesterday. You know, this is a very similar price action that we saw there, where it just came back and pushed to the recent highs. So potential trades, just options, but the main trade I'm looking for is this pound Aussie, and then I'm entertaining this Aussie dollar, and then we'll see how this dollar huff or euro huff kind of develop, right? Either way, last session of the week. I have still no trades for the week. Really looking to get something done here. It's kind of how last week fell out for me, right? Like last week, I was able to get into trade the last session of the week and was able to pull some profit out. So hoping to do the same this week. Yeah. Either way, that's all I've got. And I'll catch you guys next week. See you.